Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions, for the Go for God team. What a team we have. Everyone's so devoted to all that joining. It's so wonderful. Now we have like a collection. It's like we know Jesus speaks to us all throughout the day. Is that like the happiest thing of all? To know we can hear that voice and he's just going to guide us just gently and directly. And we can hear his voice and everyone can hear him just as clear as Helen really now. Just as clear. It's just a matter of just listening and just practicing again the joining so that we're joining and listening and expressing what he's saying. Divine expression. It's just so wonderful that we can hear the voice for God and that he'll guide. Oh, it's just wonderful. So yeah, we're still putting up the joining videos. We have a whole playlist. I'm going to send out in the newsletter. It'll have a link to the playlist for anyone. If you want to go through and watch some of the ones that you haven't seen yet, it'll be in the playlist as well. And of course, we're open for joinings, and we know you're joining out there. And if you have videos of your joinings, we can see about putting those, sharing those too, if you want to share them and extend them just to see how it is an extension, not for anyone else, just for the expression of divinity if Jesus gives you a prompt for that. So we're continuing with chapter 20 and looking deeply with Jesus of each of these denials of divinity. And we were looking at, you believe you're affected by expressions which are lack of love. We can ask Jesus, Jesus, will you show me any desire? It's good to look at this one again. I can hear him going, yeah. That appear to be lack of love and to feel affected by them as though somehow love can be limited. The desire to have experiences out there in the world where love feels limited, that desired experience. Let's look at that. Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness? To feel I can be impacted by an interpretation, something happening is less than love. I'm willing to see it. And you can notice as we're doing this and asking for Jesus's help, which we start with the light of divine being, infinite, seeing what's infinite, unchanging nature of divine being. The source of all happiness is this light. We start with that and we ask for the assistance of this great love to assist us in seeing what's true. And then you'll notice he'll start bringing the mind, bringing you to the points. When we really open to the miracle, that is such the message. Completely open to him guiding which miracles perform. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't get that before. Now, once you get it, you're going to see how he'll bring you right to where you need to look at most. You know, I could see just when I didn't get that part about the indiscriminate miracles and deciding what miracles we perform, because the ego is just going to throw out just trash, and we're going to, I need a miracle on that, I need a miracle on that, need a miracle on that. But he's going to hone us in right on where take us right to that desire, right where that split is, where the desire is for two. Whereas the ego, if it gets involved, its whole involvement is to deny miracles. The whole consciousness is to just deny miracles, conscious control. Miracles should not be under conscious control. So we don't even know which miracles. We think we do. And it's a good place to start when you know I'm not at peace and you can ask for a miracle. We can also ask, okay, show me really what's underneath the covers, and he's going to lift the hood on the machine and go, let me show you. I mean, isn't it wonderful to have the master mechanic give you a tune-up? You know, like it's like we're opening the engine of a car and we've never seen one before. And even if we've opened one before, we think we know what's wrong with it. Well, that little tinkering. We have to go in there like, I don't know, show me, and let them put your hand right to the place. You've never seen an alternator before, not like this. And he's going to show you where in the engine, what the engine is. He's showing us so directly, so specifically, so on point. See, right in there, right into where that split is happening, where the tiny mad idea is just going. Start with the light. All right, now show me where that energy is for other. And I'm willing to see it. So right now, and he'll start bringing into awareness, okay, show me. Remember, he says, search your mind. So he's really reminding us, okay, search your mind and find the images floating across where, or sounds, or however it was appearing in sensory experience, that love is limited. The tension. The tension is intention to feel love is limited. We're going to have so many hashtags. It's so much more fun to look. As I said, I felt like I was living in a Greek chat tragedy by desire. You know? I see why I'd escape in books, because you wanted the tragedy to be about somebody else. What a distraction all that is from looking. We have to be like Lucy, you know, she's clearing the windshield. Okay, now I'm just going to go naked to Jesus. No ideas, nada, nada, nada. Empty. See, like the light, just like the light. It's like that. Empty. Okay, my Lord. Christ control. Show me, like that. No ideas. And then let the power of the infinite light within come in like a show me what I need to see. And it's so fabulous because I'm joining and everyone's going. This is like, I was writing down what Jesus told me to work on. Oh my gosh. Jesus, that's it. What is Jesus telling us to work on? You write the notes. What do I need to work out? And then you ask them, okay, what next? Do I join with the buddy? Do I keep working with you? That's how specific he's going to get. That's how specific he'll get. It'll point right to the place where we need to look. And also when he's drawing us to join with a mighty companion, he's sending to he knows the whole gig, right? So he's going to send us to the ones and you'll just see it. It's like, this is exactly what I needed to see today. So it just keeps us right in that upright, coming and joining with our mighties. He'll even tell you which in this group to join with, and you'll hear their name and text them. Jesus said I'm to join with you. Follow those instructions. Okay. You believe error of thought is true, thus you desire an experience of error of thought is true. Okay, show me, Jesus. I'm willing to see where error of thought, so that would be the sin. Is there any like sin energy going on in there? That's guilt. We know what to do with that though now. Go underneath it. Do not engage. Does the light engage? No. So we're going no to the engagement of the kerfuffling in consciousness. No kerfuffling. We just go, okay, desire. Show me. That's how fast. No time, no mind energy on the spinning. Need help. Call a brother. Okay. You believe error of thought is true. So, okay, is there any desire for an experience of error of thought? I'm willing to see it. Any energy around that? He always reminds me, when you don't ask me, you desire error of thought. See, not asking is keeping the error. Any kind of delay. He's like, he's got the now button. Now, 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 now. You know, go for now. Right to the light, right to the light, right to the light. So that'll break up those patterns. Any kind of old patterns of thought, weeding around in the weeds. Just reach up for him and reach out for a mighty. Is there anything else we need to see error of thought? So don't believe it. That's what he hashtag don't believe it. Don't invest any energy in it, he says. I love that. Muji says that. He's like, who's powering that engine? Just like he'd say, like, drop it like a hot potato. You don't get burned. Like if it's a potato's really hot, we're not hanging on to it. Or another favorite one from Muji. You're carrying around a dead fish in your pocket. That's why beings love Satsang with him. He's so funny. You know, we need that kind of lightness, directness, purpose when we're in purpose, but that we can be a little bit light about it. Ask Jesus, can we be light about this looking? Hear what he says. We can all hear him. Yes, we can be really light and look and playful. I'm asking, can we be playful? He's saying, yes. I've given you these playmates. So, look at that. Yes, aren't we having, we're just in so much joy. And joining. Anything else on error of thought? Just see if you believe in error and thought and invest in it, it's just denial of yourself. That's all. You know, before in the first stages of the Course in Miracles, he's going, you know, you have a brother and you want to, you know, forgive your brother and for what he didn't done. Now, what he hasn't done. Now he's going, see what you haven't done. Go to see that you're light, and any twitch that's not light is an error of thought. That's simple. Oh, I'm having a thought error. You believe that thoughts of this world can fill a perceived lack. Oh my gosh, when we see that, how we created this big void of emptiness within ourselves. We're empty. See the light. Is there anything in there in the light? Does the light have anything in there? It's not a barrel full of something. But the ego created a kind of emptiness that's dead. And then tries to fill that void, that feeling of something missing, with lack. You know, we just keep trying to jam thoughts in there to fill the space with thoughts. Let's ask Jesus. Thus you desire an experience of lack and trying to fill the lack with thoughts of this world. Oh, I get a big yes on that. Okay, Jesus. We just laugh and say, yes, okay. Can we, is there any desire for that? Anything to look at deeply here? He goes, that's desire 2. It's trying to prove 2. Like Marguerite said in her session, it was like, it goes to 2 and then it goes billion. So ask them. Fill in thoughts as a way to try to prove more than one. Lack is the desire to feel more than one. Because if we feel one, you can't really feel one. Does the light know what one is? The light doesn't have a number. It's just a way of speaking. But if the perception is more than one, we're already in the space of death. We just stepped onto the Death Star. So we just ask him, show me where I believe the thoughts of this world can fill a lack. Please remind me. Every time you don't follow me. You believe the thoughts of the world over your divine powers, infinite being. It's the only way home is light. The only way home is to follow the light. Everything else is like death. We're at death's door all the time. And it really, I can see that we really don't know how dead how consciousness is playing dead until we really start looking. And it really seems to be getting worse because we can't judge, like I said yesterday, we can't judge our advances from our going backwards. That's why we have to rely on him totally, because the ego makes up kinds of stories. Oh, I really got something today. Or, it's just can't, you got to stay with, we got to stay with Jesus. So he tells us where, keeps us straight up. You believe in separation, thus you desire and experience a separation. That's a good one to look at. Jesus, can you show me the desire to experience that I'm separated? The desire to feel like I'm in a million pieces or being ripped apart or shredded. Feeling torn, indecisive. Feel how that feeling of indecisiveness, I don't know what to do. See that kind of thing? I don't know what to do. That indecisiveness is a desired experience. Is the light indecisive? So we can put that whole energy of indecisiveness in the light and see what happens to it. Does it survive in the light? That whole energy of feeling separate, because it's just an energetic thing and then it gets defined. Because we can see we're already light. Is there anything other than light here? Infinite, unchanging light when we look. So just put that whole feeling, I feel separate in the light. And see how long it lasts. The infinite toaster of sanity that toasts out the idea that there's some other. And this is a good one to, I'm asking him, yes, this is a really good one to sit with him on. Jesus, show me that desire for that energetic experience of separation and let him take you down. Like, what's under that? What's under that feeling of feeling? It's like this nervousness. Things are always not feeling quite right. That's all the feelings of separation. Remember, perfect peace is the light. The light's not jittery, not jumping around, not looking for the next thing to do. He's really looking at him at any kind of remnants of doer energy. wanting to prove that separation, show me that energy of trying to prove that I'm separate. The desire for the experience as though I'm separate, that itch, and just see how much it's really wanted. You believe perception is true, thus you desire an experience of perception. That's deep. Does the light perceive? See, the light doesn't perceive. Light doesn't know what, does the light know what perception is? Is the infinite light of being in our direct experience, can it find perception? Perception is a vehicle of fear. Misperception is like a vehicle used by the ego to try to prove that something's actually happening when nothing's happening. In the light of divine being, is anything happening? So here's perception is, okay, so my finger touches that phone, that means that phone is separate. What proof is there of that being true? Does the light touch that? Does the light, it's just a sensation. Rupert Spirit's really good at these kinds of deconstructions around the idea that something touching something else. But we can ask Jesus. He's a good interpreter too. Jesus, does my finger touching this phone mean it's separate? Just touch something and ask him. When I put my hand on this couch right here, does that prove it's separate? And hear the light. It's a thought. When I open up my mouth and I hear a sound, does that mean does that prove I'm separate? Ask the light. Because that proves separation. When I look over at Jesus on the wall over there, can that prove separation? Ask the light. When I look at all those beings on the TV, you looking at us, does that prove I'm separate? And hear what the light says. So it's just the means by which the ego uses to go, oh, it makes up conclusions that never are possible. It makes up conclusions that because I see a pair of eyes over there, that is not part of wholeness. Or that sound out there. They're having some kind of bongo thing going on out there. But just notice that heat-seeking missile is going to go looking for that in consciousness. It's going to go out there and it'll start having, and then a little story starts about that sound over there. What are they doing? See, it starts using the theys and the thems and the he, him, sure, he, she, it's over there, whatever else is. Can any else prove that there's more than one? It's like the cells of the body trying to stand alone, individual. There's one body, different kinds of cells in it, but still one body. We don't go in there and. So it's part of the game consciousness plays through touch. But as those desires are released, you'll even notice he says that unifies perception. So there's no otherness in touch or taste or smell, or it's just an appearance. This even sensory experience, he's not kidding. It's the senses shift. Because they're no longer used as the hunting mechanism for death. They're not hunting for an experience of death. All the reasons why we're separated. So we can kind of relax. We're not looking for that thing coming over our shoulder to get us. Here it comes. No. Looking for attack. Is perception the vehicle used by consciousness to prove attack is real, to attempt? And we can hear the lights explain, yes. So all perceptions arise out of desire. We can ask the light, do all perceptions arise out of desire? Yet in the light of divine being, even so, even if desire, it's a desire for the experience of separation, yet does it prove if separation exists in the light of divine being? We can just check in. Totality expressing as it is, just one. You believe, so there's a desire to experience perception as true. So therefore, the means given through the miracle is whole perception, perceiving in wholeness, rather than in the heat-seeking mode of focus in consciousness, to focus on one thing or another thing, to make things wrong. You believe perception is true, thus you desire an experience of perception. Ask the light, is perception unified to the release of desire, seeing through the desires? You believe God is not in communication with you, thus you desire an experience of not being in communication with God. Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness to not be in communication with God? 24/7. Full communion with God is 24/7 joy. Let's ask the light. In full communion with the Father, is that pure joy? That's why the light training needs to be light training is 24/7. That's why it needs this kind of focus. I asked Jesus over, does it need this kind of focus? Yes. It's a 24/7 commitment to divinity. That's why we join at any time. Like if we're, here, if someone needs something, 24/7. Because that's the level at which we value. We cease to deny ourselves, looking supreme happiness. You believe God is not in communication. This was just the best when the realization, like for whatever reason, ceased to deny the communion. What Holy Communion is after years of Catholicism. Holding up, this is communion, the symbol of unity of all that is, celebrating itself in Holy Communion all the time, without limit, celebration without limit. That's our function, celebration without limit. We can ask the light, is that our function, celebration without limit? So Jesus, is there any desire to be out of communication with God one smidgen of a second? And in the light, could we really in reality be outside of communication with God, even if we wanted to? God's in everything I see. So in actual fact, in direct experience, when we look with infinite light, can we be out of communication with God? We can pretend to be, which is the I=hell hashtag that we can look at that hashtag. Jesus, any desire for the I=hell? At least we know what it is now, because before, where it felt like it was something that was happening to me, the buck stops here is so much way, way, way more powerful, saying this is a desire. So much power in that, because you know who to go to immediately. Like before, where it was a play like, oh, this is just all happening to me. Why am I being screwed over so badly? whatever that play looked like. And now it's like, oh, okay. I am his creation. I'm in the miscreation playground. You believe the world is chaotic. Thus, you desire an experience of chaos. Is there any belief that the world's chaotic? Desire to feel in a chaotic world. Can you show that to me? This has been beautiful too in these joinings, like with Elliot, Mary, that time, and where it really comes in and you see how Jesus is making it, keep it simple, light. You know, does chaos and light, if you put the idea of chaos in light, we can see what happens to it. The energy of chaos, and just let it go infinite. Let Jesus take us infinite. Spacious, without borders. See the light, no borders. Is the light looking around to try to find a border? Is it looking for perception to prove that it exists? The ego is trying to prove we don't exist. That's the light that, yep, is the ego trying to prove we don't exist? It's a desire for an experience that we really don't exist. Perception is anything on chaos? No, we're done. Perception is impossible. I was just checking with this asshole. It's so simple. It gets so much easier. Okay. Perception is impossible without a belief in more and less. Just notice that. That's so cool to look at with Jesus. Wow. So first we start with the light. That's always the best place. Infinite, unchanging light. Okay, see if it notices more or less. And just notice how perception is the bucket load of a billion ways to find a billion differences, right? This couch is soft. That couch is rough with our touch. See the billions of sensations to trick ourselves to believe that that separation or that can be compared, or happiness is because I'm not sitting on a soft couch. 50 ways to leave your lover, 50 billion ways to leave the love of your life through perception. Is impossible without belief in more or less. Thus, you desire an experience where you perceive more and less. See, more or less than we are. To perceive we're less than we are. To perceive that we're more than we are. To perceive ourselves as special. All these little distinctions used through sensory experience to disprove light. The light's not here. Looking for the evidence, false evidence appearing real, the fear, false evidence appearing real. I didn't know how true that was when I heard it. It sounded like a good line at first. Then you go, that's abjectly true. Thus, you desire an experience where you perceive more and less. Specifically, you desire an experience of simultaneously feeling more or less than you truly are. That's why we're always feeling ripped. If we don't forgive everything, we'll always feel torn. It's a desire for experience of feeling ripped. So it could be because as soon as that bifurcation in consciousness, play in consciousness for instead of whole consciousness is a completion expression, as soon as that desire to experience two comes in, oh, I want it, and it splits out like this, the tiny mad idea wanting to be separate, you're going to always feel like something's missing. So it's always feeling more and less at the same time. It never is what it is. It can never be what is. It can never be light. It can never, light's always here, but it can't be perceived as light because perception is made to deny infinite light and to play around in the perception field. Specifically, you desire an experience of simultaneously fear or less, feel more and less than you truly are, which knows neither more nor less. So we can ask Jesus, show me where I want to feel more and or less. Than I am. Thus, your true identity does not know perception because it doesn't know more or less. See how the light doesn't know what perception is. That's why he talks about unifying perception. So it's not used as that heat-seeking missile through forgiveness to feel everything as whole, perceptive wholeness, everything's totality in its perfection, just as it is. You desire an experience of false perception to deny who you are. Jesus, can you show me where I'm desiring false perception to deny myself? Yeah, that's what I was sitting in the jacuzzi. He was reminding me, again, the jacuzzi talks. See, when we're in guidance, there's no miscreation. You can't miscreate in guidance. Ask the light that. You can ask. That's what he tells me. So following that guidance is stepping out the miscreation. Now, doesn't mean the ego is going to throw out a lot of chaff, distraction chaff. You know, you watch all those U-boat things. Hunt for Red October, one of my favorite movies, I have to say. It's not on the spiritual list, but you know, but those diversionary techniques, you know, where they just throw that chaff out when there's a torpedo coming, and they just throw out all this shiny little trinkets and stuff like that. That's what the ego does. So really staying true to the guidance does not kind of add to the bucket load of sensory experience. There's no miscreation in guidance. So we're just ceasing to miscreate by following the light all the time. Feels good just to pause here. And if Jesus gives any instructions, you know, to look at anything deeper, of course, jump on a call with a mighty. And then we were going to just take a run. Dara, do you feel like we could take a run after this to see if we can get that video to play? She's saying she's going to try to stream from her end. You might have seen this. I've not seen it in its entirety. It's about a 40-minute, what was it? God Friended Me? And that's what it's called, isn't it? God Friended Me. It looks amazing. I heard they've talked about it over at Living Miracles, and just looking. She's gonna go log into the laptop and see. So you're welcome to stay. It's just a really First of all, it's stunningly amazing that you would even have a program called God Friended Me. Has anybody seen that, by the way, out there? You have seen? Oh my gosh. It sounds just I saw just clips from it. It was enough to send you off into a mystical experience. So we're going to keep testing. We don't know if we're going to be able to actually get this to work, but you're welcome to stay. I'm just going to end the recording. Oh, I have to end the meeting. No, I don't. I can get out right here.